Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast, Dishing with Stephanie's Dish. I hope you're doing great today. I am here with my friend Michael Kenney, and Michael and I have been traveling together a couple of years now, right, Michael?
Yeah, we've had two trips under our belt. So it's a trip to Croatia and just recently that Cambodia Vietnam trip. So we've been putting some miles down, Stephanie.
I actually was somewhere last night and ran into someone from our trip, and we were comparing our bracelets from when we met the Buddhist monk, because
You
both
still
of us
have
still
yours.
have ours on. Yes.
Mine like just kind of fell apart.
It
I
was
was
such a
bummed. I woke up and it was
life-changing
gone.
trip. Yes. I'm going to keep it on as long as I can. It was such a life-changing trip. Asia was somewhere that I'd always wanted to go and really didn't have the confidence to do it by myself. So you gave me confidence. Going with other people gave me confidence, and we ended up having such a great time.
Great
And
time.
I have had another great trip with you. We went to Croatia, and that was an awesome trip. We were on kind of like an exclusive private yacht with Stan, our tour guide, who was probably one of the best tour guides ever.
For sure.
And
He
you're going
was.
back there to Croatia this summer, aren't you?
Yeah, personally, I'm not. I'm gonna have somebody else. I'm a little envious because, yeah, that trip was straight out of a dream, and you and your listeners, followers, they were so much fun. So
Yeah,
it
we
was
did have a
great.
good time.
Yeah, it was great.
So I wanted to podcast with you because people ask me all the time about these trips and like how it works and what we do and like are you like checking people's passports? I'm like, "No, silly, I'm not." But we have a trip coming up to Sicily, a taste of Sicily, which you have so sweetly on your background there. That's smart. October 14th through the 22nd. And our final payments, I think, are due in June. So we're kind of in the hunt for getting everybody signed up and confirmed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk with you. I've been to Italy a lot, actually, but I've never been to Sicily. So I'm excited about what that area is going to be like. And you've been. So I thought, all right, let's just talk a little bit about this and get to know a little bit about how these trips work. So I like to do trips with people because I like to travel with others. And people always ask me, well, are they food trips? Yes, they are food. Like we eat food, we enjoy food, we talk about food, but it isn't like exclusively a food trip. We know that when you're going to some of these historic destinations that you also want to see some of the beautiful sights. So we try to mix in some food things like special tastings, special wine events, or special dinners, but we also want to give you some time to explore the region on your own so that you can go to the restaurants that really appeal to you. And, when you're going with a group, sometimes it's not easy to go to some of these really exclusive special places because you have a larger group. Our group on a trip like this would be what? Would you say like less than like 26 probably?
Yeah, this group size will be anywhere from 20 to 30 maximum on
Okay.
this trip. So it's a real nice, size group for sure.
And you've been to Sicily before. When was the last time you went?
I was with a group 2 years ago in Sicily. So I've been there three other times. So just most recently, just 2 years ago.
And you and I kind of gave you my short list of places, and
Mhm.
you asked me about Sicily, and I was like, oh, well, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. And you were like, oh my gosh, it's one of your favorite places in Italy. So tell me what it is that you love about Sicily in particular.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. You already mentioned you've been to Italy several times, and we get a lot of people that have been to Italy, and they're like, "All right, I've already done that," or maybe you haven't, seen the Colosseum and Venice and things like that. Sicily is Italian, but it's an island in the middle of the Mediterranean, so it's similar, but it's different. I think everything is elevated. Their food, their sites. I mean, the history has a whole Greek northern the Arabs, it's a Spanish influence, the Normans, they've all kind of come to this island in the middle of the Mediterranean and put like their best foods, their best everything, and it kind of mixes and makes a Sicilian dish, which is really cool. So it's similar, yes, with their pastas and things like that in mainland Europe, but it's a different notch. I think it's above regular standard Italian food. It's just the flavors, the spices, everything like that is just it's so good. And that's just the food side of it. And then, of course, I already mentioned with the Greeks and the Spanish and the Normans, they have their own architectures that they brought, a mix of different languages. So you really feel like you're in a whole nother country. It says you're in Italy, but the Sicilians say we're Sicilian first, then we're Italian.
That's funny.
So it's really so different of an experience on that end. And I even have a couple of friends going on this trip, and they've never been to Europe before, and they're saying, "Hey, we're going to join you on this trip because it sounds lovely, but we've never been to Europe. We've never seen the Colosseum, things like that. Like, is this a good trip for us to take?" I go, For sure it is. I mean, you don't have these, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but once you get to these places, you'll see, oh my gosh, I mean, a church that's 1,000 years old, or the little villages that are, 500 years old and just oozing with charm. So you're really having this real great Italian Sicilian experience, but maybe not knowing the sights, but it'll kind of resonate even better when you come back and tell your stories. It's just a beautiful, beautiful trip.
And I think, I've been to Rome. I've been to a lot of the little Italian islands on sailing trips with my husband.
Mhm.
And we've been to Naples. We've been to Venice. We've been all over, really. And each of Italy has its own uniqueness, but the islands themselves are just something different because you really did get a lot of influences of people coming through and the trading that happened. And they also weren't as involved in the wars because they were sort of moving to the mainland. So you get a lot of different preservation possibilities. And the culture just held up because they weren't impacted by the wars in the same way.
Exactly. And I think even early on, Sicilians were very poor as well. So a lot of things just really held. So they didn't, knock down buildings and build new skyscrapers, things like that. It's like you're being on the set of The Godfather, which was filmed there too, part of
Yeah.
it at least. And it was like set in time. And you're going there and just really experiencing the feel, the taste, the smell, even you could call it like the grit of like Palermo. I mean, it has this edge to it in a sense. Like this is a real living city. It's not like all spruced up to be perfect like on a set, but that's what makes it so fantastic. It's real. And I don't think you always get that experience. Say you're in central Rome and it's all beautifuled up. Again, Palermo and all these cities that we'll visit are extremely beautiful, but it has this just a different edge to it. And every group that I've ever been there with, Stephanie, they've come back and said, "Wow, this is a dream." Not just the food, the sights, the experiences, the people. The people are real. They're fabulous. So it's a real, just an amazing immersion, if you will, to Sicily.
One of the things that people ask me about too, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not really like someone that you would think of as a group traveler. I
Hmm.
like a certain amount of alone time. I don't love to have every single thing coordinated for me. My husband,
Yeah.
as you know, is a big adventurer and explorer. He's always the first one to do anything crazy on these trips.
Yeah.
But it having a group is it's so nice when it's a smaller group like this because you do get to meet new people. You do get to create a community amongst your travelers. And I'll tell you, my friend Lori Barghini that went on our
Mhm.
Asia trip with us, she's a big traveler too. And she was like, I don't know about this group thing. I was like, just give it a try. Like, Asia's a good one to test it out because it's probably a destination you wouldn't go alone. And she signed up right away for Sicily. She was like, I loved the group elements
Yeah.
because when I wanted to, I had a group of friends and it was fun and we could hang out together and do fun things. But also when I wanted to be alone, I could do that too. She thought it added a whole nother layer to the travel experience than you just get either with you and your spouse or you and your friends because you have this whole other dynamic of people that for the most part is pretty great.
Yeah, no, and that's great. And Lori was great. I'm glad she signed up because on the flight back from Asia, she sat next to me on the flight, and that's a 17-hour flight. And if she wants to go back, then that's
Yeah,
great.
it's
So yeah,
good.
she had to
Well,
sit next to
she
me.
talked to you the whole time probably.
No, I tried to again, maybe it's like the group element, have time on, time off. So I'm glad that was brought up. And I've been doing group tours for 28 years now, which I can't believe. And I first started getting into tourism because I wanted to see sights. I know I can't pay for it, so I need to be a tour guide and going from that. I didn't realize the whole experience and having shared experiences with others was going to be my highlight. And to this day, that's my favorite part is going to meet people that I've never met before and going and having these shared experiences with. And sometimes, you build friends for a lifetime off of that. And I
Yeah.
think especially our last group too, we really built that with several of the travelers, which is great. So if you're hesitant, like, well, I'd like to, this trip sounds great, or any of our trips, but I am kind of worried about that. We really try to balance all our tours out. It's imperative that we have that balance of some of the group time to have these shared experiences to leisure time so that you can go and have your own adventures. And that is so crucial to all of our trips. And that's why our hotels, and we can talk about that later, are centrally located. So once we go out and do, say, our city tour or our food tour in Palermo and walking around, you'll have like the remainder of the day to go explore on your own, or some of those new friends that you met, maybe you can go out and have a glass of wine with them. But again, it's all about that balance. And each and every itinerary that we put together, we really work on making sure we have that balance in the trips itself, because I think that is the success of it. So we don't pack the days all day long on like seeing this, and this. We give you the nice highlights and we'll have some other fun inclusions. But again, each place that we go to, centrally located hotels, we have that free time too. So you can do your own thing or jump on with a group that you've met and have cocktails, Aperol spritzes in the main piazza later on. So it's so fun, but it really comes back. You register for a trip, but you don't know you're going to meet some great people. And at the end of the trip, it's typically these people and these shared experiences come back, and that's where the meaning of the trip comes in. It's so much fun to see them build together.
On each of the trips that I've done with you, we've had solo travelers,
Mhm.
which I think people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't have a partner to go with, or my friend can't go. And that to me has also been super fun. Like the solo travelers and the friends that they've made. And like one of the gals I saw from our Asia trip, I saw our friend Annie last night, and she was a solo traveler, ended up pairing up with Lori in a room
Yeah,
and sharing, actually, which a lot
yeah,
of solo travelers don't want to share. I get that. But in
sure.
this case, they both did, and they are like fast friends.
That's so much fun to see that. First off, if we all have it like maybe your husband or wife or friend, they don't want to go, but you're like interested in this trip. We get that on all of our trips. And we specifically have several single rooms set aside for those traveler seekers to have that. So you can pick your own room and go as a single, or maybe you want us to pair you up. We can do that too and get
Hmm.
you in contact with another solo traveler, like Lori and Annie did. Um, and that typically works out really well too. But it's I think the like-minded people looking for adventures. You'll never feel like you're by yourself on any of our trips. So like, oh, I'm a third wheel. Never, ever, ever. And sometimes that's the best way to travel because you don't have to make sure your traveling partner is having a great time. You only can worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna have a great time. And all of our travelers that have ever heard from, they've had a great time going solo and they meet these like-minded people. And again, all of a sudden they have friends for a lifetime, like, Lori and Annie did.
Yeah.
So if you're even thinking about it, like I'm solo and I'm a little skeptical about going by myself, give us a call, send us an email. We can get you your own room, single room. They are filling up quick though. We have a few left, or we can pair you up with somebody too to share that single supplement. But again, you'll never feel like a third wheel with any of our tours. And this, in addition, just works really, really well for single travelers, and you'll meet some probably good friends on it.
Yeah. And also, like, ladies, some of you I know, like coming out of relationships or divorce, you want to do something unique. I have someone in my family who I shall remain nameless, who's going to be joining us, who wanted to get back to Europe, but she's just not in a relationship status that would work for that as the way she thought it was going to be. So I was like, come with us. Like, we're going to have a ball. There's men, there's women. My husband has come on some trips, but others he hasn't. And
Hmm.
it's just there's a great mix of people.
Yeah, no, it's great. Now, this isn't a singles trip, but maybe you can find Giuseppe at the local cafe
You
and he
never
loves
know.
fetching. So you never know. So anyway, yeah, it works great for whatever status you are in life, single, um, whatever. These really, really work really nice. And sometimes like my brother came and we shared a room on the last trip and he just wanted to kind of have an experience and get away from, what's going on in life over here and just do a reset. And
Yep.
he came back and said, I'm really recharged. And
Yeah.
he's kind of like he's retired and he wants to do something else in his, second part of his life. And he's going after something right now because he was able to kind of just disconnect
Yeah.
and then just take it all in and then kind of come back and like let's go. So regardless from relationships to job hunting or whatever, sometimes these trips are great. Even if you go solo, that could even be better.
Yeah,
So
just to get a
it's
reset.
it
Can
it, it
you
is.
can you give us like without like going into all the detail, like
Yeah,
a high level, not day by day, but just like what
sure.
are the towns we're going to visit? What are, because we're going to be in, I think, three different areas.
Yeah, correct. So if you go on our at definedestinations.com and look at Taste of Sicily 2025, you can find the day by day itinerary on that, and you'll get to be able to see through it. But again, it reads like a brochure, and you go through each item and everything that we mentioned on that. It is included. But the neat thing is, we go from the north to the south. And then all the way over to the east side of the island. So you're really having a great feel for the entire island itself. And we have 3 nights in Palermo, and then we have one night in Agrigento, which is at the very southern on the beach. Our hotel's right on the beach. You can walk right down there. And even mid-October is a great time to go too because the temperatures are like mid 70s. So it's super comfortable. And the water temperature is still pretty nice if you want to jump in. And then we have 3 nights in Syracuse. So we have these like kind of hub and spoke places that we do our adventures from, but we always come back to our centrally located place. So anyway, we'll fly into Palermo. Um, uh, we have a connection if you do our included flights. There's no direct flights from Minneapolis into Sicily, so we have a connection on that.
And let me just touch on that because
Yeah.
some people want to work with the travel agent to have all of the flight things arranged for them, and
Yep.
that is an option with you. But you also do have options where people can meet you at the destination. So, like for me, we have a lot of miles that we're always trying to burn up.
Yeah.
So, for us, we book our own airfare so that we can use our miles. And then we sometimes add a few days on at the end, or we might even go to a different destination with your group travel plans, both of those options are available to people.
100%. I'm glad you asked that too, because yes, there's people that have miles, or if they only want to stay exclusively with Delta or United or whatever, that's fine. Our trips truly begin and end at the hotels. With that, we do offer an included group package you can jump on, but the whole group will not be on that flight for sure. It's just an option to do that. And my team can also get you flights separate from that too if you wanted to come early like you said, Stephanie, or stay late. Hey, I want to go see the Coliseum on this trip. Great. My team can put a pre-tour post-tour package together if you want to do that, or even if you don't want any of our help, that's fine. You can just book our land
Yep.
only. You'll be able to see our group flight numbers on there too, so you can kind of coordinate that. But the great thing is at both airports in Palermo we fly into, and then we fly out of Catania. They're close to both towns, so you can easily take an Uber. So it's really pretty easy to get to and from, and that's where the tours start from. So if you're hesitant, hey, I need to book the group air, don't worry about that. You don't have to do that by any means. We're happy to help you on all the other aspects too to get the airfare with that. So, yep, we fly into Palermo. We'll settle into our centrally located hotel, which is fabulous. Again, remind me that we need to touch on the hotels too a little bit.
Yep.
Um, but it's right in the center. We'll do a food tour of one of the local markets. Again, like you mentioned, maybe we have some guests on the trip that could care less about food or wine tastings. It's just a piece of our trip. So even if you're a modest food lover or you only like cornflakes, there's going to be some fun things to do on this as well. And we find that you learn a lot about the culture through the food. And
Yeah.
that's a reason we do part of that too. So it'll be fun regardless. You're going through the markets, you're learning about the foods, things like that. We go to the Cathedral of Monreale, which hey, we're seeing another church. We typically don't always do that, but this is really specific. This church is beautiful. It's a massive church built in the 12th century, and they're famous for all its mosaics. The whole interior of the church is all these fine mosaics they did almost 1,000 years ago. It's unreal. So it's beautiful that we'll be doing that. We'll go to Cefalù, a little seaside village, which is outside of Palermo a little ways. Maybe you've seen White Lotus. Part of that was filmed there, or all parts of the that season two was filmed in Sicily. So we'll have a lot of White Lotus moments as well on that, which will be a lot of fun. And then from there, we'll be driving after our 3 nights in Palermo. We'll be heading south, crossing the entire island itself. Absolutely beautiful. Even our coach rides, which aren't a lot, they're just stunning. In enjoying the countryside is absolutely beautiful. And then we'll be going to that's where Agrigento is, and it feels like you're being stuck in Greece. Like, wow, there's all these Greek ruins, 2, 3,000 years old. It's like this is unbelievable. They have some of the better Greek ruins even outside of Athens, which
Yeah,
is amazing. So walking through Agrigento, experiencing that, seeing that during the sunset, it's magical. I use that word a lot, but I think the whole trip really is. And then we settle into our hotel right on the beach, which is lovely. And then from there we'll be going over to Syracuse, which is one of my favorite places ever. My first time I went to Sicily, we didn't go there, and I went back and I said, how did we skip that the first time? Syracuse is it's unbelievable. And you've agreed too. We're staying right in, they called it Ortigia. That's like the old city of Syracuse. And we're staying right inside the city wall. So our bus will drop, our private bus for our group will drop us off, and then we have to walk about 10 minutes to our hotel, which is on a small little alleyway, and we'll talk about that later on. But it's a great location that we'll be doing, having different experiences, seeing all the ruins, walking around at night. It's just beautiful. And from there, we'll also be going to see Mount Etna, which is still an active volcano. We'll be on the sides of it. It's unbelievable. All of a sudden, you feel like you're being transported onto the moon. You see the vents and things like that. It's beautiful. And they grow some amazing wines there too on the slopes of it. And we'll be tasting some of those
that's
before
so
going to the
cool.
town. Yeah, it really is pretty cool because of that rich soil just offers great Sicilian wines and the dry and the elevation. So it culminates to be really, really good. So work on your Sicilian reds. They're quite good. Then
I'm
we'll be
so
visiting
excited.
Taormina. Yeah, no, it's great. So I mean, it's 7 nights, a 9-day trip in Sicily. You'll have a real good flavor of the city, of all the areas that we visit. So it's quite nice. And if you go on the website, you'll see all the inclusions as well. So we include mostly everything that we've talked about. There's really we don't include all the meals because we want some experiences for yourself too to go out and go, hey, we're going to go to this little restaurant or whatever. And we
Hmm.
have a local guide with us the entire time that will really help talk about the history and what's going on with the people itself, but then just pointing out great restaurants and other little experiences you can do during your
Yeah.
free time.
And I love that because when we go to some of these places, like I think I told you, my husband is, he's kind of he's an adventurer. He always wants to do his
Yeah.
own thing. So
Yep.
if we land in a place, he's like, okay, we're going to take off. We're going to go do this. We're going to do that. And, we try to balance like doing the group things with also him having his best life and doing some unique food experiences just on our own. So everybody gets a little bit of everything. It's a real delightful mix. You've been to Sicily now. I think this will be, you said your third time, fourth time.
Fourth time.
I'm so impressed that you're coming.
Yeah, well, I can't miss with your groups too. I can't go on all our trips, but this is definitely one I notched away because I think part of me still is in Sicily. There's just something about it, and you can't. I've been to other parts of Italy plenty of times, and I feel like I'm an Italian, but there's just something with Sicily. Maybe I meant the grit. I've talked about that. It feels like a real city, real sights, real food. Just from the different markets, the fish markets is just everything seems really authentic,
I love
and
it.
that's what I really really love, and I think the guests do too. Um, I'm just envisioning myself walking and through Palermo with my last group, and there was like there was music being played in the streets, and people are sitting down and having glasses of wine. There was no festival going on. It was just this the zest for life that people
Yeah,
have
the
there.
Italians just in general, they stay up late, they eat late, so they have like a happy hour kind of at like 6 to 7, and then they go home and get ready to go out for the dinner time in a lot of cases. So they spend a lot of time outdoors and they like to
Yep.
do it when it's not in the blazing hot sun. So things really, there's a great nightlife. People are out and about into all hours of the evening, which is fun. So I'm just
Yeah.
super excited. So if people want to join us, you said, I mean, I know we've got some rooms booked already. So
Yep.
are there some rooms left if people want to book? And what is the timeline that they should be doing that? And how do they do it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I said we can handle maximum of 30 people. So we have about 7 rooms left, so about 14 people. So if someone calls and said, "Well, will this be booked up by next week?" It probably won't be, but I always tell people, go ahead, put your deposit down, hold a seat on the trip itself. And you just have to go to definedestinations.com. You can book everything right then and there. It's super simple process. You just put your information in. You don't need a valid passport right now to enter that in. But you just go ahead and you fill that out, put your deposit down. At least then you'll have a seat held for you. Then you can work on if you want to get your own airfare or if you want to stay early or stay after later on the trip itself. You can do that all right there as well. So it's pretty simple.
And then once you're booked and we know who's coming, we usually try to have a call to kind of give everybody the particulars of that trip. Sometimes, depending on our time frame, we try to get together in person. I
Mhm.
wasn't able to for the last one because I had so many things coming, and I'm not sure what'll happen with this one because I've got the
Sure.
cookbook coming out in September. But one way or another, we will see each other's faces and we will get on that plane and we will arrive together and have a blast. So I'm looking forward to it. And we've got other trips planned. I know we're trying to book another Croatia trip possibly for the
Nice.
following year for the fall
Yep.
and something in the spring. So if you guys have any destinations you want to check out with me, let me know. I'm always looking for new places to go. You just went to the Galapagos. It sounded like it was amazing.
Yeah, that was fabulous. I was just doing a site inspection because we're looking at about having groups go to the Galapagos and the Amazon, and it was unreal. I loved it. Completely different experience from going to going to Sicily. Well, but
Yep.
that's what's great. There's so many experiences to have on the world, and we only have so much time to be able to do those. So you got to kind of hit that hierarchy of, what's important. But
Yes.
for anybody that's just thinking about it, or if this is the first time you've ever even heard of Sicily, please take a look at this because it is really a magical trip and we have so many fun inclusions. Our hotel locations are in the city center. I wanted to mention that not just because we're on tiny little streets. So you mentioned like the nightlife. We're not on a bustling street where all the cars are going by. It's like you feel like you're a local. You'll go out the door and there's Mama Rosita across the street, cutting her
Yeah, sitting
basil, the
outside.
mint.
Yeah.
That's the experience we want, not just on this trip, all of our trips. So we want you to feel like you're kind of a local for even 3 nights when we're there. So you'll know where the nearest bakery is and the restaurants. And I think you'll have that on this trip. It's really
I love it.
something else with all our hotels. You'll absolutely love that. We know exactly where to stay. And sometimes that's overwhelming when you're looking at doing a trip on your own. Like, where should I go? Where should I stay? Like, it's overwhelming. We want this to be just book the trip. We're going to be taking care of all the highlights for you.
Pack
And
your
then you
bags
get to
and
go
come
and have your,
along. Yes.
exactly. So that's what's really important to us. And I
Well,
think
I'm
we've nailed
looking
it with
forward
this.
to it. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to release this podcast not this Friday, but next Friday. So
Okay.
between now and then, you guys, I hope you get your seats booked and I hope to see you on this amazing trip. Thanks, Michael.
Wonderful. Thanks,
Yeah, it
Stephanie.
was
Have a good
awesome.
one.
It's Defined Destinations. You can find them at definedestinations.com. Uh, uh, Taste of Italy is right on the front page. Click that and you can see all the itinerary of the whole trip. And we're going to have a great time.
Taste of Sicily.
Yes.
Yes, Sicily.
Oh, what did
Yes, we
I
have that
call it?
too.
What did I
Taste of
say?
Italy. We have one of those too, but this is the
Okay.
Sicily one.
Taste
That's
of
not out
Sicily
yet.
specifically. And then if
Yes,
you like Italy, you can go back because there are a lot
exactly.
of places to go back to. Amalfi
Lots of places.
Coast is great, but it's different. And like I've been to a lot of different places in Italy and they're all a little bit different and I like them all for different reasons. So I'm really
Yep.
excited to explore Sicily.
Yep, it's gonna be great. Well,
All
thanks so
right.
much for the time.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yep, bye.
Bye-bye.